So I want to talk about something very interesting that I think is a good insight into the human psyche. And this is from the Torah and the story of Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, who goes up to Sinai and comes down to the episode of the golden calf and gets angry, smashes the tablets, and he goes back to make more tablets and has a discussion with the divine about this, about how it happened, why it happened. One of the points he makes is he never took a portion. So when the Jews left, the Hebrew Israelites leaving Mitzrayim, Egypt, they were given a lot of the treasures, right? The treasures of Egypt. They're the people they worked for, or whatever. They would, when asked, were given, a lot of Egypt's wealth, right? And Moshe Rabbeinu, didn't take any of that. He never took a portion of it. Because one, he wasn't working there, but he didn't go ask anybody. He just did his thing. And so he felt that he was poor. So his argument was that maybe they didn't listen to me because I don't have the wealth they have, or I don't have any wealth. I'm just still a poor shepherd who serves you. So I think I should have some kind of wealth, and I'll be more influential that way. And so the divine agreed with him. So we talked about it in the misconceptions about the actual tablets of the Ten Commandments, really the sayings that are on the tablets. They were made of sapphire. So the first set was just given to Moshe Rabbeinu. The second set he had to carve out himself. And like I said, they were 18 inches, 6 tefachim tall, 3 tefachim wide, and 3 tefachim deep. So like 18 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches. So they were huge tablets. So after he carved out these sapphire tablets, he was allowed to keep all the sapphire chips. So when he came down from Sinai with the second set of tablets, he actually had like a huge bags of sapphires, like chunks of sapphire, chips and chunks and tons, and was very wealthy because of it. And my insight into that is that look at the world and how much we respect. Yeah, I think it's a true insight into human nature written thousands of years ago, that we tend to kind of respect people with money for some reason, whether for good or for bad. I think often for bad, much more than for good. But we have this natural tendency as human beings to respect people based on their wealth. And we'll allow wealthy people to kind of tell us what to do when maybe they don't always have the best ideas. Not all of them are Moshe Rabbeinu, right, or Moses. A lot of them don't have our best interests at heart, or are in communication with any kind of divine spiritual forces. But because they're wealthy, we have a natural tendency as human beings to respect their word. And I think that's a very dangerous thing in an age where people are doing whatever it takes to acquire wealth, destroying. I talked about corporations stunting human evolution, the role of constantly needing profits, and it's a great business model, but because they have to meet a certain profit margin every year and up it potentially, CEOs, to keep their jobs and keep the shareholders happy, they continually cut the benefits of workers, and we've come to a very dangerous red line now, I think, with that. And in a world where we've created all these devices to basically, we should be working less. We have an overabundance of food, technology that can do so much of the work. We should have more time. We should be able to go to work for 20 hours a week and spend the rest of that time with our family and get a paycheck that sustains us. And it's the opposite. We're having now to work more and more, and people can't, on a 40-hour week, can't even support themselves in society that has an overabundance of everything, and advanced technology and medicine, It's kind of taking the opposite road of what we were promised, and we really only come into this great abundance in recent times. So we have to figure out some kind of balance to all this. But know that about ourselves, that we as humans and humanity as a whole have a tendency to kind of just trust the word, or to allow the influence of wealthy people, even as back as far as the Torah, 3,500 years ago or whatever it is, 3,000 years ago, that we should know that about ourselves. That's something to understand and to know about ourselves. And it can be very dangerous if these people who we accept influence from don't have our best interests in mind, don't have our plan, a future for us. It becomes very dangerous. And so that's an interesting story from the Torah that I think very much applies today, in the day and age we live with so many billionaires. I mean, $1 billion, the amount is just unbelievable. I'm sure everyone's seen the memes. I'm going to do one on that, about how many seconds, 1,000,000 seconds equal to a billion, how insane the time difference is. It's important. Billions, and they're multi-billionaires, billionaires. It's and what they could do for the world, and it's just it's mind-boggling. It's kind of like a sickness, I think, to some degree. So know that about ourselves. I wish everybody that blessing of knowing when something, our human nature, can get in the way and can be a strength or a weakness. That I think there is merit to people who have made themselves very financially successful, do have knowledge to offer us, but also, by listening to those who would take so much and give back so little, you put yourself in a very precarious situation. So I wish everyone the strength of knowing our human nature and being able to see when it's helping us and when it's hurting us, because it's really easy to get lost in some of these things and not make the right choices, or to trust somebody who isn't trustworthy, all because they have nice things or a lot of money or fancy things. We're not always going to have leaders like Moses, and very rarely, in fact, right? There's only been one exactly, like that. So they say a prophet who could actually see through the glass. All the other prophets saw it through like a foggy glass, like a window that's fogged up, and they would just see shapes behind it. But Moshe Rabbeinu could see through it like it was clear pane of glass, and the only one. And Christians might argue on their end, but according to Judaism, it's the only prophet that could see through the glass like that. And so they're very rare, and even he felt like he wasn't listened to because he didn't have wealth. So know that about ourselves. Use it when it's good, and acknowledge it, that we should listen to people who are successful, financially successful in terms of certain things, but also not be blinded by it, so that we can move forward and take good advice. There's a lot of amazing people out there. I know you guys see it too, and the internet and all these things bringing us together, the cognitive surplus coming into play. I talked about it many times, the TED Talk of people coming into their ideas and being able to share these ideas with everyone. So I wish us that blessing, and let's do this, people. Save the humans.
Trying to be a better man. Oh yeah. Trying to do the best I can. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna do right thing. Do right thing. No matter what they want to say. And I'm gonna still fight for you. Still fight for you.